I've been vegan for probably about 7 years now. And yeah, I definitely need a large supply of vegetables coming in every week. And this is a great, affordable way to make it happen. And it's really fun just being out here and getting to feed other people too. I've seen a lot of times in the store, you know, you get spinach like this, and you'll maybe have it for a day or two, and after that it's already turning yellow and wilts. And when I cut spinach here and I put it in the refrigerator, you know, it'll last 2 or 3 weeks. So you just see how old everything is by the time you get it in a grocery store. And also, they do the minimum to make it organic, when out here, we're always doing the maximum.
It's always a bummer to see the vegetables go away, but in some ways it's nice, and we've got a lot of work to do to put the garden to bed this fall, so we got to get on with it sooner or later before the snow comes. It's been a little frosty this year all around, but other than that, it didn't do too much damage or anything. It just might have slowed some things down, but yeah, we've had a great season. But I'd like to have veggies all year, I'll tell you that.
Welcome back to Cosmic Apple Gardens. This is our last share for the season. Seems like just yesterday we were looking around and there's hardly anything in the ground, and now there's still hardly anything in the ground. Potatoes, one of those things. This is a purple Viking. Potatoes can be sort of boring, but today we're gonna do 2 dishes with potatoes. One from France. It's called a pomme gratin dauphinois. Or you could say scalloped potatoes or a potato gratin. And then we're also gonna do a dish of a potato latke with smoked salmon and a little crème fraîche and chives on that. And so that's a perfect, beautiful way to start the meal, appetizer-wise. So let's get started with this stuff now. So I'm gonna start out on a low heat and get this whole pan kind of tempered up, ready to go. We're gonna start in with our leeks here. We're gonna go save these guys for a stock. What I like to do is cut them in half, just to kind of investigate here, see if we got any dirt in there. If you got some dirt, we're gonna clean that up. Give those a nice soak. I'd like to go pretty thin, because what we're gonna do is peel these potatoes and then slice them. The thing is, you wanna have everything, your base, kind of small and thin, so they can hide in between the layers of potato. We're gonna take our shallot. I'm just gonna go half on this guy. One kind of a small dice. Like I said, you know, these things are gonna be hiding in between the layers of potato, so you want them fairly small. And a nice little chop there, in with the leeks. Now garlic. In France, the recipe for pomme gratin dauphinois calls for only garlic and nutmeg. But since I don't like following rules, I'm gonna make up some of my own. You can add a lot of garlic and it doesn't even taste garlicky because it cooks out in the milk and it's just really, really beautiful in there. Okay, we'll keep it just like that. A little rough there. So now our pan's getting hot over here. We're gonna check on that. We're good to go. So we're gonna go in with some olive oil. Good amount of olive oil in this. And I'm also gonna hit it with some butter in the pan, and you don't want it to brown at all. So now we're gonna go in with the garlic, shallots, and leek here. Look at that, that's beautiful already. Perfect. A little bit of salt in there. And we'll season this again when we hit it with milk and cream. So what we're gonna do now is get onto these potatoes, get these guys, start peeling them. You guys can do this with a peeler at home, but it's always good to have your paring knife skills happening. Should have picked a bigger knife for that. Then we're gonna work on slicing these guys. But first we're gonna introduce our milk into this dish. Fresh, organic, whole milk. I like whole milk for this dish. You can use skim, whatever you want. So I'm gonna go in just a little bit. This is heavy cream. This is totally optional as well. We're gonna go in about half a cup there. So now the fun part, we get to slice our potatoes. You can do this by hand too, no big deal. This just goes a little faster. But you want to check for thickness here. Because if the potatoes aren't thick enough, what happens is they'll start to break down and you get mush right away. So what you want is a potato right in about that width. And if you're using a mandolin, a cool trick is take a towel, put it over the potato. That way you can wreck a towel and not your fingers. All right, so now we have a beautiful pot of potatoes. So now all we need to do is bring this up to temperature a little bit faster here. We're gonna prep our dish. You can use anything for this. I like using cast iron because with cast iron it holds a lot of heat and it also will get this really nice browning around the potatoes, and that's just extra flavor. Just a little bit of butter. Let that get soft and then we're gonna rub that around. This is gonna take quite a bit of salt. So I'm gonna go in with another 2 fingers of that. Stir that around. Of course, some pepper. You can use white pepper if you'd like. And then we're gonna do some fresh nutmeg in there. So you're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 turns, call it 9. You can already see the milk in here thickening. So I'm actually gonna add a little bit more milk here, just a little bit. So now you can see in the pot here, the potatoes are resting just above the milk. So that's kind of where what you're looking for right there. You don't want them swimming in there. Now what we're gonna do is check for seasoning. And if you've seasoned it too much, just run away or throw it away, cover it up. Start over. That's not true. You can add more milk, more potatoes, and just adjust it. It's pretty easy to do. Seasonings are right on. I would highly suggest doing this with leeks. Maybe trying some fennel too. Getting a little crazy. All right, so what is happening here, we have thickened milk. I mean, you can see how thick that's getting right now. This is a simple dish, but you have to, there's some technique in it. So you really want to pay attention. And the biggest part of it is having the appropriate amount of milk. And as you can see still, the potatoes are just sitting above the milk. And what's happening now, it's just burbling and glugging around and just having just a merriment time. So now we got some beautiful fresh green chives. And I love just shaved chives. It looks so cool. And we're gonna chop these guys also for our second potato dish. And here's the deal, when you're cooking and you're doing a job, don't be afraid to stop what you're doing when you're paying attention to your pot over here. Now you can see in there how thick the liquid, the milk has gotten. I mean, that's like almost sticking to the spoon. I mean, you can see in the pot here that it's really thick, and when you move your spoon, barely any liquid is falling down to the bottom, so you can see the bottom. So what you want to do is just add a little bit more. So let's get back to our chives here. Give these guys another 2-3 minutes. The big thing is you just don't want to overcook your potatoes. We're going to do another little test here on one of them, see where we're at. So just give them a fold over. Now they've still got some bone to them, so we're just going to keep cooking them. I mean, they are cosmic potatoes. They're not going to just break for anybody. So a little bit of butter on the bottom. That's a tablespoon, nice and soft. Just work that in there. We are at that stage. We have 4 or 5 potatoes broken in there. You can see these little fragments. But right now, what I like to do is kill the heat and reach in and just kind of layer the potatoes like that in there. And you can see how thick and almost non-existent that milk has become. So kind of pat that down. Now what we're gonna do is just cover that guy with the cheese. It's a combination of Gruyere and Comte, which is a French cheese. Gruyere being a Swiss cheese, but both cave aged. We got our oven right now preset to about 415 degrees. So let's go fire this bad boy in the oven. We'll be back. Right in its new little home. We're gonna start on our second dish here. These are potato latkes. First of all, get your peeler out. because they get brown pretty quick. I wrap that little sucker up, let him hang out there. I like a bit of shallot in mine for sure. Just gives that nice bite. Kind of fine there, a little mince into the bowl. For this, I think I'm only gonna go half a clove because that's a pretty big clove of garlic. So garlic in there. Now we're gonna take a farm fresh egg and drop that right on top of those so you can see the color on that egg. Now that's a real egg. Now we're gonna do a little bit of salt and pepper in the base of this. We will come back and add some more with the potato. We're gonna do some nutmeg. Gonna throw in, watch, careful. Couple tablespoons maybe? I don't know. We'll see. So now what we're gonna do is add a little bit of flour, just all-purpose flour. We're gonna go 2 of those guys. You don't want too much. Just give it a stir first before you put any more in. You don't want it like a pancake or anything. You just want it kind of thick. So we're actually gonna go with the full 2 in there. Now you can see that's perfect. Just a little thickened. Pull out our potato and we're gonna grate right into our towel, clean kitchen towel. Now what you want to do is get a good grip on this thing and get all the liquid. All right, we got a good amount of liquid coming out of there. If you leave the liquid in there, if you forget this step, what you get is just really messy and also, more importantly, not crispy potato pancakes. So you can see what you have at the bottom here is not a lot of liquid. So if you add too much milk, this would be the time to drain it off. Give that a little bit of a stir. We're gonna start our cast iron pan over here. I'm gonna set that aside to rest just for a moment. Ouch! Medium heat. Well, let's go check those potatoes. All right, we just checked our potatoes. They're almost there. Beautiful, bubbly, getting there. We've been away for about 5 minutes, and what we have now is a little bit of liquid on the bottom, and that's okay. So what we're gonna do is put a little olive oil in the pan, just a touch, and then we're gonna go in with some butter, salted, and swirl that around. And if your heat's too high, just turn it down a bit. I think we're doing pretty good here. So I like to go with a fork, spot like that, kind of drip dry it there, and right into the pan. I like them bite size, especially when you're passing an hors d'oeuvre at a dinner party. You don't want it too big. And the trick is not to smash them down either. Just kind of put them in there, put the potato in the pan, and just let it sit. Gravity will do the rest. And you can work in batches, don't crowd your pan. You want to swirl that around and make sure all the butter and olive oil gets all over the potatoes. You can see how they're starting to slide around in the pan. While we're fiddling around over here with these guys, we're gonna pull up our garnishes. That would be crème fraîche and a little bit of Gravlax style salmon. What I'm gonna do is cut these guys in thirds. Give those guys a little fold here. And I see that we're getting brown over there and I can smell them. They smell absolutely delicious. So let's go ahead and flip our latkes here. Beautiful, crispy. Yep, a couple of them, if they're not ready, just keep them flipped over. Now what you want to do when you flip, important step, is to kind of shake them around and get some of that butter and olive oil on the bottom side too, so you can have evenly crispy potatoes on both sides. All right, that's enough salmon there. We're gonna pull up our plate here. So I'm gonna pull these guys out right now because they're crispy on both sides now, nice and brown. So we're gonna keep it there. I'll just eat these later. So we're gonna go on with our salmon. These are it's really important, at least for me, to have a nice hot latke, because then you get the cold salmon, you get the hot potato, get the cold crème fraîche. It's just really, really a great contrast. So now we're gonna go just a little bit of chive up on top of those guys to finish. So here's our final dish. We have a cosmic apple, purple Viking potato latke. We have crème fraîche, a little chive, and some beautiful Gravlax style salmon. All right, so Jed's back. We got bubbling potatoes. We're gonna do the chive thing right now. Spring, get in here, check this out, man.
Make this time, look at this.
Oh,
This is
man.
another awesome dish.
Oh man. Oh, now smell that with the chives in there.
It's the comfort food. Oh,
Dude, it's
that is
real
good.
food. Real
That is
food.
good.
Ugh.
It's good.
So that's it.
Another awesome dish.
Cosmic apple,
Oh,
pomme gratin dauphinois, or potato gratin. Or scalloped potatoes.
that's
However you want to
nice.
cut it. Cast iron
at that.
potatoes. Oh, you put a steak with this in a big red wine. What more do you
All
want?
need. It's all you need. It's some of the best food ever. All right, here we go.
Mm. Wow.
That is really good. Oh
Wow.
boy, here's the family. You better
Uh-oh.
hurry up and eat these. Oh boy.
Hey, good deal. What's going on? Nice to see you. How's things? I heard you made a delicious dinner.
Oh gosh, it was, you know.
Delicious. Yeah, just get in there. Yeah, totally. But I would like to thank everybody, and these guys especially, and this beautiful family for what they've done. And
gosh.
we've enjoyed this season immensely, and we've fed a lot of people. They've fed a lot of people. We've, you know, it just, we can't do it without them. So,
Food is so
thanks for
good.
watching.
Thanks for cooking.
Yeah, of course. Keep
right.
eating. I'm gonna get some spoons.
All right.